Good morning, wherever you are. Just come together with 3 ohms. Take a nice breath in, feel it, expand, feel the support below the navel, enjoy that fullness, then enjoy the long exhale, Om. When you do an Om, you should feel it, what I call pan brain. So it's more of the whole floor, base of the brain really. Across it feels the vibration. Whereas if we do something like Brahmari, that's very specifically localized to the above the soft palate. And hence it has more of a nasal. And Om is just a small technical point for you. And you can work with both. You can enjoy the effect of the Om and perhaps how you'd wrap up practice or wrap up pranayama or something. Very nice with the Brahmari, and it's very directed. And in that sense it's actually closer to the zone, the upper zone of Sushumna, if we're to speak in those terms. Anyway, this morning, today, the point was to look more at really experience, feel more compassion. And it's a word that doesn't need any introduction because it's quite common in our language, but maybe not as common in our experience and behavior. How often does your mind get absorbed with being annoyed at somebody else, resentful, angry? And in all those instances, there is no expression of compassion. And even if we feel our behavior is justified or they have done something wrong, it still doesn't give us the experience of compassion. It just reinforces that, no, I'm right, which is fine. And as a debate separate to practice and a way to assess things, then that's probably a reasonable level of reflection to take. But in practice, it doesn't serve us any good. So really, it's the act of tapping in on compassion. And then practice isn't just for practice sake, it is something to influence, impact, and change, transform, if you like, us on a very deep level from the heart through the experience and into our behavior in the world. So we see empathy, compassion in a similar field. The academic wants to separate them, and some will only look at empathy because it's something you can measure. But for our sake, we sort of have them as a continuum. And when we've done the meditation on more specifically contemplation on forgiveness, we get into empathy and then compassion. And so empathy will be to start to be able to feel another's condition. Yeah, I get the feeling of somebody being hurt, somebody in pain, etc. This is empathy. Now, being able to do something with that, you could say channel it and give back, is empathy upgraded into the field of compassion. So, in a way, we'll have to look at both. Can I feel another's situation, pain, discomfort, whatever it is, the challenges they're facing, and can I meet that, match that, give back support in a sort of a greater way? Hence, compassion. And I can apply this at any point during the day, because when I find myself angry, irritated, frustrated, resentful, I don't know if you've ever felt any of those things, but some people tell me they have, or it's written in books. Anyway, if that is the case, then a moment of awareness, catching it, seeing it, and when they talk about applying the opposite, the pratipaksha, really would be like, okay, compassion is far stronger here. And really, even though it's a common word in certain Buddhist teachings, Dalai Lama teachings, etc., but really, it is a panacea for human beings. If you listen to the news today, there's a lot of blame, anger, not just because of the current situation, but in any situation. So instead of the harsh actions that are taken by people and institutions and so on, can we flip it, know that we're okay, have compassion? And compassion implies strength. So you can empathize and you can give back. So, with that as an introduction, we're building on even those of you that checked in on the last meditation, which was a grounding one. So have yourself seated. You can be on a chair, you could be at the back of a bed, as I said, leaning back on it. But either way, you just get into kind of a good comfortable seat, good setting, okay? And the first thing to do is just check in on the grounding, on the base. Maybe your feet are flat on the floor, maybe you've crossed your legs like I have. You can check in on the pelvic floor. So it's mainly the pelvis and the spine that we observe that can either go off, disturb, or can be supportive and helpful here. So this is your base. So just tune in. If you like to close your eyes, go ahead. Tune in, feel the pelvic floor, maybe even circle there, build it up to the pubic bone, build it up to the navel. So this world, without like what I'll do now is, I'll push myself up and forward, that's a bit too much. And technically could even unground you. So I kind of lean back a bit, and I don't collapse below my navel, but it's like I sit on it, see? I'm letting the rest of the body rest, be supported on the zone from pelvic floor to navel. So now, grounded. This alone is its own practice, very valuable, very helpful, and we focused purely on that last week. Here, if I have that in place, if it's not so much in place, then it should be my focus for quite a while. And to do any pranayama practice, even asana, and those two are basically of one and the same field. So the body breath practices, one and the same field, it requires this grounding. But now I have the grounding, and even if it's just for a short while, in a more contemplative practice, I come to the heart. So I'm in the heart with the grounding, as opposed to just floating randomly into the heart. There's a foundation. And this compassion approach, you'll know it's starting to take effect because your heart area starts to swell. Now, I'll give an example of when has become very strong for me, and you can, maybe that is relevant, makes sense to you, or maybe you can find your own example, your own personally relevant one. Different situations I've been in, different either dark room meditations or without the benefit of particular, shall we even say, visual sensory input, has tapped me immediately into the plight of another who is without sight, blind. And just to get that feeling of their heart. Many, of course, have mastered their own situation, but in this case, it's a feeling of another, and you're tapping into the heart of another. And maybe it's even a child experiencing it, the struggle. And so, if that example doesn't hit it for you, another in a hurt or a pain or feeling something, and maybe we can even take it to now our brothers and sisters who are working overtime, exhausted, fatigued, trying to help other sick people. Or maybe we go to the sick people, maybe we go to the caregivers who are helping for them. Maybe you are even one of them. Can you genuinely, there's no room for other thoughts. You got to tap, you got to zone in on the plight of this other, feeling that. And as you start to feel it, there's almost like a wave of vibration, a swelling is how I describe that, through the heart area. And so empathy of feeling, we direct and grow into compassion of, be it that person, in the example I gave, who is in the dark, visually anyway, blind, other people who are lost maybe, perhaps those who are overworking, or those who are in pain, sick. So just take whatever you've tapped into, and from your own heart, you can feel it and you can give. You can feel it and you can give. And so we'll be with that now for the next few minutes. Feel the other. Give from your own heart to the other. Just a sense of giving, support. And that's all that's in your consciousness, all that's in your mind. Feel the other. Feel that in your heart. Give from your heart that love, that care, that support as you feel the other. And this is working. You're in a state right now where there's a lot of sensitivity, even vulnerability I might call it, but definitely sensitivity in the whole heart area. And it's expanding. And you're not doing anything to expand that other than you feeling the other and willing to give, share from your own heart. It's not an idea. It's not an intellectual exercise. Feel the other. You'll understand the other. Self-compassion can come in there too. you care for yourself, give to others. Now, at any point in the day, you can stop, feel. Some of the studies on this like to talk about a burnout, an empathic burnout, but when it's compassion, it's impossible to burn out. Empathy, because you feel it so much and you don't know how to give back, it overtakes you and you become anxious and disturbed and upset by that, which is not what the other needs. So we don't stop at just empathy and fall into the trap of empathic burnout, because it doesn't help, and all it adds to is your own violin song. Oh, I could feel that, it's such a shame, yet what have I done? So instead, upgrade it. The ability to feel incredible. But I manage myself too. That's why I practice. And from my own stable heart, I can give back. Can you feel that? So this compassion is all powerful and impossible to burn out on. Now, if we really wanted to embolden our compassion, make it steelier strong, so stay in it now, stay tuned into your own heart. This is where we would extract from our contemplation the forgiveness part. And as I said, the forgiveness is feeling the other, and I can understand. I'm sorry anything I've done. Because I understand, I can have self-compassion, because I will not do that again. I will not behave like that again. This is very powerful. You need to build on it daily. But now the real strength of compassion is when you can replace the resentment, anger, frustration with a greater, more powerful feeling of support with understanding that overrides that anger, resentment to the other. There still might be other actions to take, things to fix. You may need to withdraw from that person, whatever it is, but what's in you is not resentment or anger, it's compassion. And it's not selective compassion. Oh, some people need it, and I'm a really good person, and I do lots of yoga practice or meditation, and I can do that, but when other things happen to me, I just become angry and resentful. Then there's really no compassion, you're just playing games with yourself. So you need to look at yourself as a holistic being across different relationships, different situations. Now you can either slip back to the feeling of the other suffering and in pain and how you can give and help, or you could direct it a bit into, yes, well, how some have behaved to me, or people that put me off and trigger me, and how you can really build that compassionate place, which is spacious, loving, kind. No one says this is easy. I'm moving my body and hands slightly left, right, back and forth, because it is a churning, like the picture on the wall behind me. It's a process. So we'll spend another 2-3 minutes together. Feel, give. And then please continue yourself till we meet again. Be in your heart and feel the other. One of the best ways for this to work is to have a strong input, which is why you might be in a position of fear, scared, and you can associate with it. Or you get a strong input of another situation. Then it's real. Now, do you feel it? Support it. Give back. From your heart, offer. Feel the other. Big, open, strong heart can override any unnecessary thought, negative thought. So give back, support, help. Feel the other. From a broader, swelling heart, strong, give, share, offer. Please continue with that. Have a good, open-hearted day. Apply it even throughout the day. When other frustration, anger, resentment comes up, compassion is much more powerful. Spend a few more minutes in it, and we'll meet again very soon.